Hi, welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to do a very quick vlog to let you know what I've been up to lately with my car. This is vlog 7, it is July the 20th, 2025, and I have just returned from an expedition. No, I've not been to Botswana, I've been to the Isle of Wight camping. And the Isle of Wight is an island at the bottom of the UK, across the sea, across the Solent, from Southampton. Here's a map for any of you people who don't know where the Isle of Wight is, and you're probably looking at this thinking, is this really necessary for the Isle of Wight? Do they actually have tarmac on their roads? Have they actually got filling stations? Yeah, they've got loads of filling stations. They do have tarmac on the roads. They even have a Waitrose. Okay, so all of this not really necessary, okay, but it looks good. All right, it looks good. It looks like sort of zombie apocalypse, full metal responder. Okay, so I couldn't resist doing that kind of for look, but there was method in my madness. And the reason for putting all that gear on the roof is not because I got a solar panel, it's because I wanted to get everything out of the boot. Okay, so get the spare wheel out from under the boot floor, get the Wolfpack box up there. The jerry cans were completely for show, okay, didn't actually need to fill them up. There are filling stations on the Isle of Wight, but by getting the spare wheel and the other box up there, I could then put my tools and my parts under the boot floor, put the seats down, completely clear the car. Okay, so I can put my gazebo in, which is a new thing. I bought this for working on the car in the rain, and it actually, I haven't used it working on the car. I have used it in the past week camping, and it is brilliant. Okay, I will put a link to this in the description of this video. It's bought from Amazon. I can't remember how much it was, about £170, something like that. And it's a sort of pop-up. It's one of those super strong gazebos. Can withstand wind, rain, sun, everything. So because that's a really long bag, I had to kind of get the inside completely empty. Okay, put the seats down, put that in. There's another long bag there, which was some chairs. And then I've got my solar panel, which is essential for running the cool boxes to keep the beer and the wine cold. Okay, that's a 170 watt solar panel from Eco-Worthy. That connects into the control unit here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a PWM, whatever it's called, controller. And I have a leisure battery as well, which was in there. I've taken that out now, but it was connected to the leisure battery, and then that connects to the cool boxes. And in full sun, in the full blazing afternoon sun that we've had lately, because it has been several heat waves lately. One was last week, and it was like 28-30 degrees. We actually had rain last night, but you know, look at the grass here is very brown, and it's been the driest, hottest, sunniest spring on record. We've had 3 heat waves so far, which is kind of unheard of by this time of year. And yeah, we picked the right week for camping. It was scorching. With the solar panel running, with that connected up on the side of the car, because last year I put it flat on the actually inside the roof basket, which is great because I can drive around with the solar panel on the car, but of course it's pointing directly upwards. The sun in the UK is no more than 60 degrees. I think 62 degrees is the maximum that it will reach on the summer solstice at midday. Okay, so really, normally, it's behind the trees now, you can just about see it through the trees there. Normally it's that sort of angle where putting the solar panel here works better than putting it flat on the roof. So what I did is I put some hooks that are 3D printed, nice pink hooks, okay, and then I just hooked it when the car was parked, obviously not while driving, but I hooked it, took the solar panel out and just hook it on the top of the bars here, and then it comes down here, and by shoving a beach towel or something underneath it, I can actually change the angle so that it is facing directly into the sun. 170 watt panel, each cool box is I think 36 watts. This 170 watts is obviously in the middle of the Ethiopian desert on a very sunny day. Okay, in reality I was getting 70 to 100 watts out of it. You can get all the data from the control module. It's got the current in, the current out, the voltage of the panel, the voltage of the battery, kilowatt hours, ampere hours, all sorts of data. Okay, so I kept a close eye on that, and this was giving up to about 8 amps, maybe 9 amps on a really hot day, and each cool box was drawing about 3 amps. Okay, so on a sunny day it can run both cool boxes and have a little bit left over for the battery to keep the battery charged up. Cloudy day, it's basically running the battery down unless I just run one cool box. So what I did is I put the important kind of perishable things like ham and cheese and meat and sausages and bacon in that one, and then had the drinks in another one, which kept them cold enough. Okay, so I just flick this on now and again, just keep the lid shut, and the wine was kept cool enough, and more importantly the beer was also kept cool enough. So that's what I've been up to in the last week. Before the camping trip I had a flurry of activity on my car, okay, mostly to do my brakes that you can see there. Okay, so we've got the new EBC dimpled groove discs with the painted calipers, and that was a lot of work, and that was the last video I did. Okay, that was about 3 weeks ago, something like that, and I did the front brakes, and then before that, about 28 days ago, I did the Haldex dismantling. So 28 days later, 29 days later, sounding like a zombie apocalypse film now, 29 days later, here we are, and I do need to get back on with the Haldex because I haven't finished it. But I've got a bit distracted now, a bit distracted with kind of drinking wine and putting unnecessary stuff. I mean, the spade wasn't used, but it looks good. Okay, so that's what I've been doing really, kitting the car out with unnecessary off-road equipment. And I went on the ferry, and yeah, I kind of like to think that people were looking at my car thinking, wow, look at that Land Rover, that looks good. He knows what he's doing, he won't get stuck in the mud. Yeah, I was actually on the kind of cargo deck with all the articulated lorries, so I don't think anybody could actually see me. But never mind. I had a good week, relaxed, switched off from work, switched off from the day job, turned my email off, sat and just took it easy. But there was a bit of a panic before I went, and that was with the brakes. Okay, so I did the other side in the last heat wave a couple of weeks ago. It was so hot I couldn't do it. I had to get up at 5 o'clock Sunday morning 3 weeks ago to do that side. Got that done. So let's have a quick look here. Okay, so there is that one, all nice bright orange calipers with the new discs and the braided hose, which you can't see because it's behind the tyre. Did that, no problem. Last video, filmed that, that all worked. The following weekend, I thought I'd do the other side. It won't take long because I know what to do now, because I've done one, and then I wouldn't be filming it, and I know what to do because I've done the other side. Quickly do the other one. I think it was like a Friday evening. I thought, right, I'll quickly jack the car up, get that on, doing a caliper carrier, pads, disc. It was all going well until I tried to loosen the brake hose, the fixed brake hose. Okay, what you have to do, you have to sort of undo that a bit. If I just show you, let's just move some of these things. We'll talk more about these boy racer parts in a minute, but let's pull out a brake hose. So these are the brake hoses that I'm fitting. Good ridge. Okay, this is, I think this is a rear one actually, but it doesn't matter, it's exactly the same. And on the end, if I can pull that thing out the end there, you have the threaded end there, okay? And you'll see this weird shape around here. It's a sort of, it's almost like some sort of locking wheel nut thing. It's kind of like a hexagon with chunks out of it. Okay, The way it works is the hose goes from the caliper into a hole on a bracket, and the hole is that shape. Okay, so you put that in and you put a clip in, and then you thread in the fixed hosed end into that. And of course, taking apart and getting rid of the old rubber hoses is exactly the same. You undo the fixed end, pull out the clip, and out comes the old rubber hose, which has got the same kind of very, very similar end to it. That side, no problem at all. Lots of WD-40, let it soak in, undid it, yeah, no problem. Really, well, if you watch the video, I did huff and puff and made a bit of a meal out of it, but that was the first time I'd done it, and it was kind of stressful because I was like, oh my god, if I twist the brake hose or shear it off, or this doesn't undo, then it's, you know, it's sort of game over really. So I was feeling confident and pleased that I'd done that side, and I kind of dived into doing this side, and I put some WD-40 on, and I went to undo that bit, which is no, how is it? It's that way, and then undo to pull the hose down the pipe, the fixed brake pipe. Okay, and one thing that I learned, really important, when you are undoing hard brake lines, put either a bit of paint down the pipe or a bit of tape or something around it so that you can see if it's twisting. I didn't do that, but I did hold the pipe underneath while I was undoing the spanner, and I could feel it turning. And I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this isn't right. The hard brake line is turning with the nut on the end. That's not meant to happen, but it can happen, especially on 15-year-old brake hoses, brake pipes. And I thought, hang on a minute, absolute panic moment, bearing in mind that I was going camping like 2 days later. I thought, this is no good. If I carry on, this is going to shear the pipe off. And I know that a lot of people have done that. So I panicked and I tightened it up. Sort of, luckily it hadn't twisted much, only a little bit. I just started undoing the nut and I tightened it up, and I think I got away with it. I went out for a drive, so I left the old rubber hose in, put the disc and the caliper on, did the old rubber hose, that stayed there, and I thought this is not good at all, because what happens if I'm on holiday and I have to do an emergency stop and that twisted brake hose ruptures? That's it. I've lost my brakes. I was in a bit of a flap about it, I admit. Okay, I was thinking, oh my god, what do I do? So I went online and I ordered a new brake pipe. Okay, so it goes from somewhere down there across the back of the engine and down and kind of up. Okay, I will replace that. I've actually bought two. There were two different part numbers. Okay, I haven't got them here to show you, but I will do a video soon on replacing that. But in the meantime, I didn't have time to do that. I ordered them and they took a few days to arrive, and literally arrived the day, well, it was like the morning that I went camping. So I had to just take a chance on it. It wasn't good, and I was really, really worried about it. But what I did is I went out, I found some quiet lanes, and I did a series of hard emergency stops to really, really pressurise the brake line, and it was fine. It didn't leak at all. Everything worked, and I'm pleased to say that yes, it was absolutely fine while I was camping. I did actually have to use the brakes a couple of times in anger when sort of missing junctions and things like that, but luckily no issues. But that hose, that pipe, it's going to play on my mind. I need to do that pipe. I need to change that. Okay, so I will change it. I have got the new pipe now, and I will be dealing with that somehow. It's up the back of the engine somewhere. I've probably got to remove this and take it across to the ABS unit. I've heard that if you get air in the ABS unit, it can need Need some sort of software bleeding mode or something. Oh dear. It's the sort of job where, you know, it was meant to be a half-hour piece of work and it's now turned into a complete nightmare. But the good news is the car works. It worked fine while I was camping, and that's going to be the next video, probably before. It'll either be before or after I do the rears. Okay, so here I've got the rear brakes, all right, so there's one caliper and carrier. So here's the rear, vented rears, all right, okay, so that is the petrol 3.2 litre rear and the carrier to go with it. Okay, you can't use the normal diesel carrier or carrier. Okay, so I will be putting new discs and new calipers and carriers and pads and hoses and everything on the back soon. I'm going to be doing that, and then I will replace that front pipe. I might do it the other way around, I don't know, just see how it goes really. But somebody did say that actually I missed a trick. What I could have done was turned the rubber hose. Okay, so just loosen the end, tiny bit, take out the clip, lift it slightly to get it out of that kind of weird shape, and then turn this, okay, turn the hose, the old rubber hose off and then the new braided one on, and that means I don't have to turn the fixed hose. I wish I'd known that. It's obvious now when I think about it, but you know what it's like, you kind of do these things. The first time I was doing it, and I just looked at it and I thought, well, I need to undo the fixed end. It worked fine on the other side, no issues at all. Go to do this side, major aggro. Okay, so we live and learn, but if you are fitting braided brake hoses, consider turning the flexible hose, not the fixed line, okay? I'll put that, well, I have actually already put that in the description of my last video, the brake hose video, okay, just to say it might be better to do it that way. What else? Right, okay, still on the subject of camping. So I've got all the gear on the roof there, I've got my spade. I'm just going to climb up actually and show you how I've attached this. If you would like a video on zombie apocalypse preparation, then leave a comment below and I will show you how I've attached all this stuff to the roof. Okay, we have a spade there with some quick release rubber clippy things, and this wolf box here has a couple of R-clips and some brackets there which are designed for the front runner roof with this sort of T-track kind of mountings. I've got a roof rack with bars on it, so I've had to weld some L pieces onto the bottom of those. The jerry cans are from, I think they're Wavering or something make the cans. Let's see if there's a name on the other side. It's something like that, Wayfarer, Wavering. I can't remember who makes them now. What does it say there? Can't read that. Right, I'm going to climb up. Wavian, that's it, Wavian. And I've put my diesel things on there just in case anybody thought I was a petrol vehicle. Better put diesel on there. So these are in these cages with some padlocks, with a combination lock, which nobody will ever guess. Okay, probably my date of birth with one digit turned slightly, like everybody does. But you know, just deters kind of people trying to think they're full of fuel and then nick them. One of those full of fuel is probably worth quite a lot nowadays. So that is those things on the roof. If you would like to know more about those, then leave a comment and I'll try and do a separate video on that. Still on the roof here, we've got the side ambers. Okay, so these are my amber strobe strips, and I've made some new mountings, and these are adjustable, so there's a couple of extra holes there, so you can have kind of like straight out or down or very, very steep, almost straight down. Now, can I get to the... Now, I'm just going to try and turn one of these I'm going to turn them on. Ah, there we go. Right. So these are amber strobes that flash in various different modes, about 32 different modes. And one of the modes, actually strange, actually looks like that's flickering in the camera, but I think that's just the sort of raster kind of rate or whatever it's called. Right, so that to you is flashing probably, but it's not, it's just the camera, okay, it's the frame rate. Okay, so it means that these are actually flashing very fast, but to me, with my eyes, that is actually on solid. Okay, it's probably flashing at a very high frequency and I can't see the actual flash rate, it's too fast. But the beauty of that is you then got nice kind of amber light here, so if you're working next to the car or you're cooking food or something like that, then let's try and turn those off. Right, yeah, there we go. So if you're doing anything next to the car, even like changing a tyre or something in the dark, it's really nice then, because you can have some sort of side sort of down light. Okay, so that's those with those new brackets that I've made. And let's have a look here. Yeah, I've talked about the solar panel and the pink hooks that we've got on the solar panel. What I'm going to do next year is I'm going to use a smart relay. Okay, so as part of the Webasto project, I'm going to be fitting this kind of smart relay that charges the leisure battery from the main battery when you're driving. I'm going to get that set up. Okay, I need it for the Webasto because the Webasto has to run off a separate battery, otherwise it flattens the main battery before you start the car. And what I'm going to do in this winter is get that Webasto working, and then the leisure battery, it will still use the solar panel, but it will also be topped up by the main alternator effectively. So I will do a separate video on that, okay, when I come to it, but it's just a way of actually charging your battery. So when I'm driving around, of course I can't have the panel on the side of the car, it'd be dangerous, so I have to put it kind of, well, not, it was in the car when I went there and back, but I actually just took it out and left it at the, you know, hid it around the back of the tent or whatever. Okay, so out and about, the cool boxes were running off the battery, they were going flat, and yeah, the wine and the beer were getting warm. It was you know, getting a bit critical really. So I need a better way to do that. All right, so I'm going to use this smart relay to charge things up. Okay, so last vlog video that I did, I had to do a re-upload. All right, slightly awkward situation really. So I talked a bit about Carfest and the 4x4 response. I'm not going to go into the details there, but let's just say that ruffled a few feathers amongst the 4x4 responders. My complaint about the incident has now been taken seriously by the new chairman, and I agreed that I would edit the video and take that bit out and re-upload it, so long as they took appropriate action. And that is happening, and finally it's all being dealt with. It's just a bit of a shame that I had to resort to actually talking about it in one of my YouTube videos really. But anyway, enough about Carfest. Right, what else? Shows. Another show, Bewley. Did Bewley recently. Okay, that was good. I wasn't there with the 4x4 response, but still parked kind of next to their stand. I got shouted at by one of the marshals. I drove in and he was trying to direct me over the back in the car park. I was like, no, I'm not having that. I want to park in a prominent position. I want to park where all my fans can gather round the car. So I kind of pulled onto the verge and parked near the 4x4, and I heard this, "Oi, what are you doing there? You're not with that club." I was like, yeah I am, look, here's my 4x4 response vest. I'm with Hampshire and Berkshire 4x4 response. I wasn't working with them, but I sort of hopped out and went, "Oh, it's fine, I'm with them," and then he left me alone, which was great, because then I had a good spot and everybody gathered around, had a good look at my car, had a good look at the engine. I spent ages kind of cleaning all the pipe work and everything. I'd already washed the car, but I used some graphene wax, okay, and I don't know where it is, let's have a look. So this stuff is good. This graphene acrylic trim restorer, okay, it is, as you can see, quite black. Alright, so imagine soot from a fireplace, but in liquid form, okay, so you don't want to get it on your hands. It really stains your hands black, but it's fantastic for doing all this trim, okay. So I sort of spent quite a while doing all the black bits, okay. Now one bit I didn't do is this. You see how faded this is? It's light grey. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a short video on that stuff, and I will put some on this, and you can then see the difference it makes, okay. So all the other black bits I've done, all right. And the great thing about it as well is it's like hydrophobic, I think it is. It hates water, so when the water lands on it, it all beads off like a freshly waxed car. It looks really, really good, and I was really pleased with that. A lot of you came up and said hello at Bewley, and that is what makes it all worthwhile. I spend hours and hours out here doing these videos, talking away to myself with my camcorder, working on the car, trying to film what I do. Everything takes 4 times as long because I'm trying to film it. Then I've got to edit the videos, which takes even longer, and I put it up, and I don't make much money. The money just about, buys me a set of spanners or something. But when people come up to me, as soon as I'd parked up at Bewley, people came up going, are you the guy off YouTube? I've seen your car. And I was like, yeah, hello, I'll chat away and talk about the projects, talk about the modifications and that, and they tell me about their Freelander 2s and all the things they want to do, and it's nice. It's really, really nice. It just makes me so pleased to talk to my viewers and find out about what they're doing and have them ask about the things that I'm doing. It really, really, it was a great day, really good. And I also got to go around the forest track on in a D4 Discovery 4 with one of the 4x4 response guys. He was going round, and I hopped in, and he wanted me to film a video for him. I don't know if I'll put it on my YouTube channel, because I've done 2 forest drive videos before and they never got many views, okay, so I don't think we need a third one. But I made a video for him, and I'll maybe put up a tiny little clip of it now, but that was a really nice D4 that he just bought, and yeah, it's kind of sort of making me, one day this has got to go, this car. It's nearly 200,000 miles. I mean, I will keep it going as long as I can, but probably in about 2 or 3 years I am going to have to replace it, and the D4 may not be the right vehicle, but obviously I'd like a new Defender is what I'd like, but yeah, they're expensive, so I will have to see. I don't like the D5, don't like it, don't like the shape, don't like the rear number plate, but the D4s are good. I have heard of a lot of issues though, people having to kind of lift the entire body off the chassis just to get at the turbos and things like that. And my father-in-law had one, and he had a lot of issues with it, and it cost him a lot of money, and it just makes me think, do I really want to do that to myself? So yeah, we shall see. I mean, maybe the answer is just another Freelander 2, maybe get a newer 2014 or something like that. We shall see. I'll worry about that in a couple of years. Right, okay, I've got a little list here. I've talked about Bewley, talked about the graphene wax. I made this little thing the other day. Despite not making parts anymore, I'm still designing and 3D printing little things, okay, that I need for my car. So it is just a clamp. So I had a couple of cable tying these fuel hoses here. If you don't cable tie them up to this air conditioning pipe, they can, and I have seen this happen a couple of times, they can droop there and get cut through by that pulley, and then all your fuel comes out and your car stops and you're broken down. Okay, so it's at very least cable tie them up. The factory clip is useless. Take it off, throw it away, cable tie it. If you want something that looks better than a cable tie, then you need something like this. So this is a sort of 3-stage clampy block thing that I made with 2 bolts through it, and it sort of clamps those fuel hoses tightly, but not actually squashing them, so no fuel flows. And that sort of bolts it to this. It needs a little, this is a prototype, okay, it needs a bit more work, but I might possibly, if there's demand, might consider selling some of those probably on eBay. So I am closing my online store, okay, that is happening. I can't continue doing that, but I am continuing to sell things like headlight release rods, okay. So down here, this yellow thing here, and that yellow thing over there is the uprated headlight release rods, much better than the black flimsy plastic Lego axle things that Land Rover fitted, okay. So I've got loads of those because I've used up all my reels of coloured filament. Here's a small selection of the colours, okay, also sort of green, red, green, yellow, black, grey, whatever, about 10 different colours, okay, and I've got loads of them, okay, because I've used up all the filaments. These are the only parts that I made in colour, so each reel of filament makes 30 or 40 kind of rods. So I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of those. I'm putting them on eBay as well, okay, and I've also got some Discovery brackets and things like that. I put them on eBay, and I might just kind of keep that going. I've got to be careful though, because Mrs. Pitts has said, no more, enough. This whole making parts and selling it thing, she's absolutely had enough of it, okay, and it's got to end. But I might try and sort of sneakily kind of make a couple of things and sell them on eBay, alright, and if she asks, I'm just selling some old used parts or something, you know, that's okay. But it's all the mountains of bubble wrap and jiffy bags that she was really getting annoyed with. So we shall see. I will do my best to continue selling some parts, not all of them, okay. In fact, probably only rods and maybe the LED bulb clips. You can see those getting quite popular again in the autumn. It's always in the autumn when it's getting dark in the UK. Everybody thinks, oh, my headlights aren't very good. What else is out there? Oh, there's LED bulbs. Yeah, they're illegal, they'll fail the MOT, but hey, never mind. You know, let's just fit them anyway. And then they need the brackets, which I make. Okay, so if you want to know what I'm talking about there, go and have a look at the LED bulbs video series and the headlight upgrade video series. There are loads of videos I did last autumn about the lights, okay, so there are some clip things. I'll try and put a picture up now actually of what they look like, but they are the way that you can fit the LED bulbs in the H7 headlights, okay, which is main beam if you've got the projector, or both if you've got the old halogen lights. Now I've upgraded the projector, okay. You've got to be a bit careful though, because it is an MOT fail, okay, so you may want to just put normal bulbs in for the MOT, or just be a bit careful, maybe just do main beam. Main beam seems okay, the regulations are more relaxed there, but for dip, if you've got the projector bulbs, then you're okay, because you can't see the bulb, okay, so the MOT test has no way of knowing that they're LEDs, and they're not allowed to take it apart and go looking, you see, so if the beam pattern's right, then that's fine, it's a pass. Okay, but just, you know, do a bit, be sensible about the brightness. I mean, if you're driving around with blindingly bright LED lights, when I did the comparison of the different bulbs, I went for the Philips ones, Philips Ultimans. They're not the brightest. Okay, some of the extreme brightness ones I tested were even brighter than the ones I went for, but I just was a bit worried that I'm going to be just driving around blinding people, and it's going to end up with me just getting pulled over, and I don't know, I just don't need that kind of aggravation really. So right, that's the fuel hosey clamp thing. I will have a think about whether or not I make more of those and sell them. If you are interested in having one of those, let me know. Leave a comment below. I need to gauge the demand, you see, for these kind of things. So if lots of people want them, then I'll make some and sell them. If nobody wants them, then I'll just make one for myself, and that'll be it. Okay, more bigger jobs. Okay, lower arms. Last MOT picked up worn lower arm bushes, probably this bush here. Okay, inside there's a big cylindrical rubber bush, and there's another one here. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the one at the back on one or both of the lower arms. I'm going to change the whole lower arms, okay, and I'm going to try and drill out these rivets. Okay, so the lower arm comes usually, certainly from Euro car parts, comes with a new ball joint on the end, which is fine because my ball joints probably need replacing as well. But in the future, if I ever need to replace just the arm or just the ball joint, currently with these and the ones on the car, there's no way of separating them because they're riveted together. So you can drill out. It's a bit fiddly, you have to get kind of increasing sizes of drill, going up to probably an M10. But you drill out the rivets and replace them with some short M10. I think it's M10, it might be M12, I think it's M10. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. Pretty sure it's M10, short M10 high tensile bolts, okay, with nylock nuts. It's probably better to put the bolts down with a nut underneath. I've seen people do it both ways. The thinking there is that if the nut does come loose and comes off, the bolt just doesn't drop out. Okay, yeah, there are 3 of them. Are all 3 gonna really come loose and fall out? I'm not sure. The only worry with putting them downwards is you know, you've probably got a bit of thread sticking out. That's, you know, then things sticking downwards under the car, which are never a good idea, especially when off-roading. So I will do a video on that. Okay, I'm going to drill out the rivets, remove the old ones. I might even have to drill out the rivets on the old ones to get them apart. I don't know. I'll worry about that in another video. I might also try and put polyurethane bushes in here and there, but I think I'm going to have to use a hydraulic press to push that out, and I have no idea at all how you get that one out. I don't know. If you know, leave a comment below and let me know, but I've looked at it and I'm like, okay, this is going to be more difficult than I thought. Okay, so got the lower arms to do, possibly with poly bushes. Whilst I'm doing those, I'll do the anti-roll bar. Okay, so the anti-roll bar has got some mounting bush things on it, which will also need changing, probably because they're probably soaked in oil and they've perished and fallen apart. And then while I'm doing that, I might as well do the rear anti-roll bar, and you can see how these jobs end up spiralling one thing into another. And that's Land Rover ownership, basically. There is always something. Or in my case, there's about 50 things, okay, and I'm working my way through it, and I haven't forgotten about things like triple gauge pods and all those other things. The Webasto, which still isn't working. These projects are on the list. They will be done. I just need to get the urgent stuff done first, and then I'll come on to the wouldn't it be nice if sort of things. Talking of things that have to be done at a certain point, timing belt. I'm nearly at 200,000 miles, so I am almost due the 3rd timing belt. Okay, so it's on the 2nd belt at the moment. I didn't do that one. I got the garage to do it because I had it done shortly after I bought the car, just as a preventative maintenance. 144,000 miles, I think, is the interval, but I would never take a timing belt to the limit on that. Get it done early. Okay, that's the one thing where it is worth getting it done early. All right, so timing belt is in there. I had it done at about 100,000 miles, and I need to do it again, and this time I'm going to do it myself. So it's quite involved because you've got to lock the pulleys with insert bolt thing. I don't know what they are. You put an 8mm drill or something in, or an 8mm M8 bolt. I don't know what it is. I have to read up and find out how it's done. But you've got to lock the pulleys, and you've got to lock the crank And the way you lock the crank is you take the starter motor off and you put some tooth thing against the big starter cog to lock that. And while I'm doing that, I might as well change the starter motor, which it probably needs doing. So yeah, that's going to be a big video series doing that. Okay, so there's loads more things to do. So timing belt, I don't know, it's at 195,000 miles. It's going to need doing in the next couple of months. Probably this autumn I will do the timing belt. Okay, and we're now on to things that aren't essential. The sump guard underneath, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got the Mantec sump guard. I'll try and get down here and see if I can show you this. Okay, but let's have a look. Under here, somewhere, oh dear, where is it? There it is, there. Okay, so what I've done, because it was always a bit of a hassle getting the sump guard off and then removing the factory under tray, I bolted the two together. Okay, and it was James Phillips on the Facebook group that gave me that idea. Just bolt the two together and make a one piece. So I've decided to bolt the two together. It makes it a lot easier to remove, and I then thought, well, why don't I ditch the factory under tray and just go for a big sheet of 6mm thick aluminium. That might be a good thing. And then we get on to the final thing. Now this is a bit boy racery, okay, and that is bonnet vents. Let's see if I can carefully put this down without destroying. Right, bonnet vents. A lot of you are thinking this is completely for show, alright, but everything I do with my car is sort of kind of practical, even the spade. Okay, so with the winch in there, it blocks a lot of airflow. Okay, I've not actually had any overheating issues, but I have noticed that in the hot weather lately, as soon as I start the car, the fans are running. Okay, the fans are going, and you know, full blast. Things are getting hot. Okay, the performance is alright, but I can just tell that the engine would really benefit from a bit of extra cooling. So I might put some vents here. Now you might be thinking, well, that's not really the right place for them, they're supposed to go here, okay, like the Range Rover Evoque, but I want to put checker plate here. I've got some 3mm checker plate here which I'm going to cut. Already made a template, okay, for here. I'm going to put the checker plate there. I don't really want to then have to cut through the checker plate, because these are going to be real vents, not fake, not cosmetic. None of your sort of stick-on fake vents. These are real vents. Okay, so the hot air or the cold air will come in and get hot, and then it will be able to exit. Okay, so what I'm thinking there, if I put these down here, because I don't want to scratch out. These are Defender, actually air intakes from Defender, but I'm going to use them the other way around as a vent. So what I'm going to do, because I haven't got any soundproofing here, I'm just going to cut here. Right, so cut a big hole there and a hole there, and that will allow, and there is enough room, okay, I've checked it, that will allow the hot air to get out. The thing I need to be very careful of is rain getting in. Okay, so that's going to then get right on the alternator, so I need to make some sort of rain guard drip tray thing there. Okay, so right, okay, one final thing. Right, with my store closing, a lot of people are messaging me asking for my 3D designs, okay? I don't give these out, alright? I don't give them out. They are registered to me with the Intellectual Property Office. They're my designs, okay? If I give them out to people, even for personal use, they will eventually fall into the wrong hands and people will start manufacturing them, and that's it then. They're out in the wild, and one day I'd like to make more. I'd like to resume production. I'd like to make more parts, and that's going to be very difficult if all the designs are in the public domain. Okay, so for now, and this is something that I have given a lot of thought, for now I'm not giving out my designs. Okay, I may possibly release some designs for older products in the future, but for now I'm just sort of keeping options open. I do want to one day have a workshop and actually make the parts again and sell them. So I do need to protect those, okay? So I'm sorry to all of you who are messaging me going, oh, my mate's got a 3D printer. Please can you send me your design file so that I can make my own? No, not at the moment, all right? Okay, right, that is it. Hopefully this wasn't too long. I was aimed to do a 20-minute vlog and it goes on for about an hour. So, yeah, that's it until the next video. Next video will be brakes, okay? Probably rear brakes. Okay, then I'm going to look at the brake hose, then I'm going to do the arms, and then there's bonnet vents and everything else. Okay, loads and loads of exciting videos coming up. We're pretty much halfway through the summer now. I've still got a lot of nice, dry, sunny weekends to do lots of car work and yeah, try and get as much done as possible before those cold, dark winter nights. Right, thank you very much for watching. I hope that was useful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.